Hello, welcome to the Living by Faith channel. Today we are going to explore a controversial question. Do Isaiah 14 and Ezekiel 28 really talk about the fall of an angel named Lucifer from heaven? Many people believe these biblical texts refer to the fall of Satan, but is that really what the scriptures say? Let's analyze these texts to understand what is truly being said. Before we begin, I want to invite you to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. If you enjoy exploring the Bible, this is the right place for you. Like the video and share it with your friends so more people can understand the truths of the scriptures. Let's discover together what the Bible really teaches us about Lucifer, Satan, and the fall from heaven. Isaiah 14 is a text that is often misinterpreted. To understand its true meaning, we need to look at the historical and literary context. This chapter is part of a series of oracles against nations that were enemies of Israel, and is specifically a prophecy against the king of Babylon. The term Lucifer appears only in the Latin Vulgate, a translation of the Bible into Latin, and is a translation of the Hebrew word Hallel, which means morning star or light bearer. The context shows that Isaiah is speaking about the pride and fall of the king of Babylon, who exalted himself above others as if he were a bright star falling from the sky. There is no mention of an angel or Satan in this text. This interpretation only emerges later in Christian tradition and is not supported by the original context of Isaiah. Understanding this is crucial to avoid incorrect interpretations that do not respect what the biblical text actually says. Now let's analyze Ezekiel 28. This chapter is a lamentation about the king of Tyre, a ruler known for his pride and excessive wealth. Just like Isaiah 14, the text uses poetic and symbolic language to describe the king. He is compared to a cherub in Eden, full of beauty and wisdom, who was cast down to the ground due to his pride and corruption. The use of grand images such as cherub and Eden is a way to express how highly the king of Tyre viewed himself before his fall. However, it is important to note that Ezekiel is speaking metaphorically about the human king of Tyre, not about a celestial being or a fallen angel. As in Isaiah 14, there is no direct reference to Satan or an angel named Lucifer. Ezekiel 28 is a powerful critique of the pride and arrogance of human rulers, showing that those who exalt themselves will ultimately be humbled. Understanding the historical and literary context is essential for correctly interpreting these passages and avoiding common misconceptions about the topic. Let's now compare the traditional interpretation with the contextual interpretation of the texts in Isaiah 14 and Ezekiel 28. The traditional interpretation that associates Lucifer with Satan has its roots in the early centuries of Christianity, when theologians began to link the fall of an earthly king with the fall of a rebellious angel. This view was reinforced by the translation of the Latin Vulgate, where the term Lucifer was used. One of the main theologians involved in the interpretation that associates Lucifer with Satan was Jerome. He was the translator of the Latin Vulgate, the version of the Bible that became the official translation of the Roman Catholic Church. In the 4th century, when translating Isaiah 14:12, Jerome chose to use the word Lucifer, which in Latin means light-bearer or morning star, to translate the Hebrew term Hallel. This Hebrew word metaphorically refers to the king of Babylon as a bright star falling from the sky. Although Jerome did not explicitly associate Lucifer with Satan in the text of the Vulgate, his choice of word ended up influencing later interpretation, where Lucifer was understood as a proper name for Satan. This mainly occurred during the Middle Ages, when the identification of Lucifer as a fallen angel and Satan began to be developed in theological and interpretative writings, influencing subsequent Christian tradition. Therefore, Jerome played an indirect role in this association due to his translation. But the interpretation that solidified Lucifer as Satan evolved over centuries and did not originate solely with him. Professor, theologian, and Hebraist Carlos Augusto Velati, in the podcast of scientist Marcus Eberlin, says the following on this subject, quote, "The king of Babylon in Isaiah 14 and the king of Tyre in Ezekiel 28 are often interpreted as references to Satan. But the Hebrew biblical text is very clear. In Isaiah 14, he is called Meler Bavel, which means king of Babylon, and it really refers to the king of Babylon. In Ezekiel 28, he is mentioned by two titles, Meltor, which means king of Tyre, and Nidtor, which means prince of Tyre. Both titles are applied to the same person. Therefore, there is no clear reference to the fall of Satan in these texts. The first to try to link Isaiah 14, Ezekiel 28, and Luke 10:17, 18, interpreting all these texts as a reference to the original fall of Satan, was Origen, a theologian of the 2nd and 3rd centuries, considered the father of biblical allegory. So, in summary, it is not possible to support this idea. End quote. When we read these texts in the context in which they were written, it becomes clear that they speak about human kings and their kingdoms, not about the fall of a celestial angel. Isaiah 14 deals with the king of Babylon, while Ezekiel 28 speaks of the king of Tyre. Both texts use symbolic language to highlight the pride and fall of these earthly leaders. To understand why Isaiah 14 and Ezekiel 28 do not refer to the fall of Satan, we need to examine the image of Satan in the Bible. Satan, as a fallen angelic being, clearly appears in passages such as Job 1, 2, Zechariah 3, and especially in the New Testament, where he is described as the adversary of God and the faithful. In none of these texts is Satan identified as Lucifer or directly associated with the descriptions in Isaiah 14 or Ezekiel 28. The Bible presents Satan as a spiritual being who opposes God and tempts humans, but these specific passages about the king of Babylon and the king of Tyre are not speaking about him. After examining Isaiah 14 and Ezekiel 28, it becomes clear that these texts are not talking about the fall of an angel named Lucifer, but rather about human kings who were brought down because of their pride and arrogance. Isaiah 14 deals with the fall of the king of Babylon, while Ezekiel 28 speaks of the fall of the king of Tyre. Both texts use symbolic language to highlight divine punishment over these leaders. These passages teach us about the consequences of pride and arrogance, and about God's justice in dealing with leaders who exalt themselves above His will. If you learned something new today about Isaiah 14 and Ezekiel 28, and how these texts do not refer to the fall of an angel named Lucifer, but instead to the pride and fall of human kings, don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends and family. Your opinion is very important to us. Leave a comment below about what you found most interesting or any questions you may have. We want to hear from you. If you are not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos where we will continue to explore biblical topics. Thank you very much for watching until the end. See you in the next video.